RotoGrinders. Welcome to the DFS pregame show here on RotoGrinders. I'm Jordan Cooper, a.k.a. Blenderhead, Blender HT, if you want to follow me on Twitter. And it's Friday, August 25th, and we'll be talking about the UFC Singapore card coming tomorrow. Draftkings 13-fight slate. I believe that they're all on. Remember, 5 a.m. Eastern. 5 a.m. Eastern, right? They're coming from Singapore, so slate locks at 5 a.m. Eastern. Get your lineups in before you go to sleep tonight or wake up really early in the morning. Don't think that it's a normal 6 p.m. and whatever. And next thing you know, the entire slate is over, right? And you have like your dummy lineup and a whole bunch of lineups. Don't do that. Okay, 5 a.m. There'll be no crunch time. We ain't waking up to do 4:30 a.m. crunch time for MMA. So this is your first look. UFC Singapore. We obviously have the Ground and Pound podcast coming out today with Mike and Liam. Liam's breakdown, Squirrel's tournament takes, the expert survey, everything. If you're a RotoGrinders premium member, so click on that link in the description. Get $10 off your first month. Combo premium. You get college football, you get college basketball, you get NBA, you get NFL, you get the preseason NFL stuff. You get everything. Lineup HQ with all the projections. Go, join. Click on that link in the description. Get $10 off your first month. Hit that thummy thumbs. Give me the thummy thumbs first thing in the door. The early birds are here. Boondot is here. J3 wants Dean. Dean ain't going to be here. Sorry. Hit the thumbs down button if you expected Dean to be here. But we got this 13-fight card coming from Singapore. Kind of a little bit wide spreads, right? We always talk, right, when we're discussing especially large field GPPs, the two primary contextual variables of the slate. Because when we play large field GPPs, we're essentially aiming for the nuts. There's only 26 options to choose from. So most lineup combinations will be used, right? The winning lineup in the large field GPP is more likely to be closer or the actual nuts. So you have to aim for it. So what does that lineup look like? Or more likely or less likely to look like? That depends on the two primary contextual variables of the slate. The size of the slate and the spreads of the fights. 13-fight card, a little bit on the larger side. I mean, in relation. I mean, we in the past we've had 14 and 15-fight cards, and those would be large slates. 13 is in the middle, probably leaning towards the large size. So when there are more options, obviously there are more opportunities for fighters to score more points, right? Getting 80 points out of an underdog when there's only 10 fights, much more valuable than getting 80 points out of an underdog when there's 3 more fights that you have to fade some underdog putting up more than 80 points. So on 13-fight cards, I tend to lean a little bit more towards ceiling over win equity. Right, there may be some fighters on the bottom, someone like Lucas Brzeski or Alex Caceres that may have a little bit lower, like inside the distance odds, but maybe a little bit more chance of like winning the fight in a decision. But much more likely that they put up 72 points, and unless like every other favorite wins, you're probably not going to have the nut lineup with just a winning underdog score. Obviously on the favorite side, right? You have a 72-point, $9,100 guy. It's very, very, very unlikely to be the nuts. So in a card of this size, I'm going to be focused more on ceiling than on win equity. The second contextual variable is the spreads of the fights. I go to my sheet, my other sheet, right? I filled some stuff in. I updated some of the odds, right? I still have to update ownership and everything. But from the looks of it, I mean, we have a lot of high spreads. We also have a whole bunch in the middle that are much closer fights. But Max Holloway's a minus 800 favorite in the main event, 5-round fight against the Chan Sung Young, the Korean Zombie. Rinny Nakamura is a minus 900 favorite over Fernie Garcia. Right, JJ Aldrich's minus 555 over Liang Na. I believe it's Liang. I'll change the name. Rolando Bedoya is a minus 310 favorite over Song Kanan. I mean, we have fairly hefty favorites in the 9K range. I mean, Waldo Cortez, Acosta, and Giga Chikadze is a little bit more, 2.5 to 1 favorites, but the ITD lines are big. There's gonna be a lot of knockouts. There's gonna be a lot of finishes based on the lines, right? Because Max Holloway minus 180 inside the distance. Nakamura minus 315. That's a 76% implied probability. Minus 180 in the first round. 64% implied probability. Even JJ Aldrich. High-priced female favorite. Minus 145 inside the distance. Then in the mid-range, even Junior Tafa minus 115 at 8,600. But then we got a lot of, 160, 140, 135. In the mid-range, we have a lot of fights in the mid-range that are like minus 450 to end inside the distance in total. And the spreads and the prices are good, right? Kinoshita, Span, the Olajaychuk, Shidi, and Jaquani fight, right? But even guys like, Parker Porter, Kazama's plus 215, Aaron's plus 325, Song Kanan's even plus 350 for 7,000. So, I'd be much more focused on, can this fighter get 100 points? Right? Of course, we have some, like Erin Blanchfield could get there just dominating on the mat in a decision. So even though she's plus 230 inside the distance, and she could get there she'd get there without a finish. So a lot of good ITD lines. And I think because of, we have, insane favorites at the top and good inside the distance lines, like right in the middle, that is going to be the chalk construction. The chalk construction is going to be, you're going to play or whatever. People are going to play like Holloway, Nakamura, like one of these two guys, if not both. There are some constructions you could fit both. You'll need a low-priced underdog. But it's going to be, people are going to be focused on Holloway, Nakamura up here, and then it's going to be the mid. Then it's going to be everywhere from like Tafa down to Aaron's, like just across the board, like people just jamming that in. So you'll see lineups that are like Holloway, 1, like Span. Like that Span Smith fight is like more, that probably ends in the first round. Right? They'll play Holloway, Span. We're going to take a look at the ownership here. Tafa for his inside the distance line against Porter. You could do Holloway, Span, Tafa. You're gonna have to take one low priced like underdog or something. Maybe like a Jarno Aaron's because he has money line value. Right? Now you have 8,000, and now you could take some in their mid range. Like Goff. You have 8,200. And you take Olajaychuk or Chidi or something like that. Like I think these are what lineups are going to let. This is going to be the most popular type of construction. Playing 1, 2, 3, playing 3 or 4 guys in this mid-range pack. Then 1 cheap underdog, which could be like Kazama, Aaron's, Kaceres, Bresky, Song Kanan, like one of these guys. And then one up on top. And also there'll be some constructions that do the barbell and play both Holloway and Nakamura. But of course, you'll either need 2. You need 1 really low priced underdog or 2 like mid underdogs. So like Kazama and Aaron's, like something like that. You have 7,900 left. You play like Anthony Smith, and you play Billy Goff and Anthony Smith or something like that. Like this type of construction. Holloway, Nakamura, Smith, Goff, Aaron's, Kazama, right? You're playing like 4 underdogs, but look at the lines in the mid-range. Choi's only a minus 145 favorite at 8,800. Armfield minus 153, Tafa minus 140, Blanchfield minus 145, Kinoshita minus 140, Span minus 127, Olajaychuk minus 115. They're less than 3 to 2 favorites. And all these fights have good inside the distance lines, except for the Blanchfield Santos one. So it's quite possible that, 3 out of these fights, produce a winner that has 100 plus points. The question comes in is that if you need Holloway and Nakamura. I think more people will play Holloway because obviously 5-round fight. But Nakamura is going to be owned also. I mean, he's going to be owned. I think they're going to be the 2 highest owned. I think they're going to be the 2 highest owned fighters on the slate. Holloway 1, Nakamura 2. And then you'll see a bunch. You'll see a bunch in the high 20s, low 30s in the middle. I think Ryan Spann will be the 3rd highest owned. Ryan Spann will be 35 to 40%. But Anthony Smith will be like 20 to 25% also on the other side. Chidi and Olajaychuk, they'll both be high 20s. Maybe one of them in the low 30s. I think Tafa will be 28 to 32% owned. I think like Kazama, Aarons, Parker Porter, like these kind of guys, they'll be in the high 20s as underdogs. So you can see where the construction goes. I mean, to me, as of right now, based on the inside the distance line, I mean, I know taking J.J. Aldrich as a minus 555 favorite sounds scary, but Liang Na has like no ground game. Like if J.J. Aldrich decides to wrestle, which he probably should in this matchup, I mean, she could absolutely smash. But it's hard. In women's MMA, it's sometimes it's hard to trust. But based on the way the lines are, I mean, if J.J. Aldrich is going to be like half or even less owned than Holloway and Nakamura, I mean, that in and of itself, I mean, based on these numbers, I have Aldrich as the most under-owned fighter on the slate. If she's 19% owned. But I also have like Nakamura at like 43% owned. Nakamura should be higher owned than Holloway. Based on his betting line. The thing about Holloway is that he has many more paths to get there. I mean, 9,700, you need a pretty big score. But he has paths to get there even a 5-round decision. Like, this isn't like a minus 180 and he has to score. Oh, if he doesn't get a knockout in the first 2 rounds, he's dead. Like, Holloway could score 120, 130 points in a 5-round decision because he has the extra 2 rounds to work with on volume. Another under, I mean, that Siwoo, people are going to gravitate away from Sungwoo Choi because his money line is really not that great for 8,800. More people will play Aarons. But I mean, he's plus 140 inside the distance, plus 350 in the first round. That's a 22% implied probability. If he's going to be like 15% owned, he's under owned. Right, I'm just taking a look at the current numbers and bare basic, just rudimentary ownership. Let's see any other under owned. I mean, like even like Waldo, like these guys, like I might be much more likely to play Waldo. Of course, there's Acosta than Giga Chikadze. But these are guys that obviously one-dimensional strikers. Like good luck to you on a 13-fight card. You got 5 minutes. Hopefully you get a knockout. Bedoya to some degree, although Bedoya has some wrestling. But at 23% owned, he's okay. I mean, I have Holloway as over-owned. But most of the time, 5-round main event fighters tend to be over-owned. I have Blanchfield as over-owned because people love playing Blanchfield. She's probably going to be a title contender. Soon. Even at a young age. But it's not like Tyler Santos is bad, right? It's just that this most likely will be a grappling match. Like if one person has the other woman down, like it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard unless it's a 30-27 for like one of these women to score a lot of points. But if there's domination, then yeah, you could score 115 points, no problem, with 30-27 with 10 plus minutes of ground control. But I think this fight in general is going to be over-owned. I Ryan Spann. If he comes in at 36%, I actually have him as under owned, and very similar to Yusaku Kinoshita, a little under owned. But Spann's plus 110 inside the distance, and he's only 8,300. And he typically, when he wins, he's going to win by submission. He's going to win by ground. He's going to win and get it, even in the first round, getting 110 versus like 92 or something. So even at 36% ownership, I mean, I think the Spann Smith fight is one of the fights to target. Then on the underdog side, I have Kazama. If Kazama is going to be 22% owned, I have him as under owned with the plus 215 inside the distance. Most of the underdogs are about efficiently owned based on the current numbers. Right? Guys like Fernie Garcia, Kanan, Bresky, Caceres, Aarons, Parker, Porter, Santos. They're there. Right? Even like Billy Goff is there. But like if Kazama was more than 22% owned, let's say Kazama was 30% owned, he'd be like, that's what he should be probably. Like based on his numbers, like he should be 30, but he's going to be like more like 20, 24-ish. Right? Something like that. 22 to 24. Depends on how much the line moves, because the money line has moved in that fight as well. Garrett Armfield was minus 175 to win. Now he's minus 153 to win. So that may lean more people, because they like taking, people like taking the money line value when it comes to salary. But remember, for GPP, that's win equity. That's not necessarily, they can score 100 plus points. So that's one of the exploits in GPP is that, he's a great, Jarno Aarons has a good money line value. But winning and scoring 68 points may not be enough. You would need like every favorite to win and multiple 9K fighters to put up massive scores. Where it's like, well, the only way to fit in these guys is you play the one guy that won that was under 7,700 and you're good. That's it. I mean, it could be one of these slates where the highest scoring underdog. I doubt it. The fights in the middle are too close. One of these underdogs, two of these underdogs, three of these underdogs have a legitimate shot, that's we're going to win. Which ones? Don't ask me. I have no idea. That's why you get combo premium. You got to go to the MMA section. You read Liam's breakdowns. You listen to the Ground and Pound podcast. You click on the link in the description and you get $10 off your first month. But that's how I'm seeing it. I mean, we know what the chalk construction is going to be. We see where the ownership is going to be more condensed. Like, if you don't play Holloway or Nakamura, I mean, good. Go play whoever you want. And at that point, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, outside of Spann, I don't think that the ownership in the mid-range is going to be spread out enough that I don't think I'm going to worry much of like the combinatorics of the mid-range fighters. Like, maybe it's the type of thing where I go like Holloway, Nakamura, Spann, max 1. If I really want to avoid duplication. You could probably get away with max 2 on a 13-fight card. You may have to sort through some lineups and go, well, yeah, max 2 is fine. But like Holloway, Nakamura, Anthony Smith is probably a popular combination. Then you also have like Holloway, Spann without Nakamura. That's you have some of these. You're going to be less duplicated, but you can still find lineups with max 2 of those three that are fine. But if you really want to try to avoid dupes, make that group of Holloway, Nakamura, Spann, even Holloway, Nakamura, Spann, Smith, max 1. Just go I mean, Smith, if Smith comes in under 30%, I don't even know if you have to add him to that group. We don't at all. But I wouldn't play all three. Like Holloway, Nakamura, Span. Unless you're going to leave money on the table, unless you're going to leave 1,000 on the table and hope multiple underdogs score a lot of points. I mean, you're just going to run into. I mean, like I have the ownership here, the average ownership right now. Holloway 52%, Nakamura 43%, Span 36%. And there's what? How many? 20,000, 30,000 entry, 35,000 entries, something, 28,000. I think it's a little bit lower this week because 5 a.m. lock, probably not as high. It's still 100K to first. But that would be kind of the combination to avoid. Also, the Korean Zombie is going to be overowned because he's the main event underdog. I mean, he's 6,500. Could he win? Sure. But, I mean, big underdog, plus 1,400 inside the distance. And it's not like he wrestles or anything. This is going to be, the Holloway, the zombie fight is going to be just volume, striking. That's it. There's not like an absurd amount of like wrestling upside on this card in general. That's why looking at I don't know. Are people going to be able to click on JJ Aldrich? It's 9,400. Like, you take away the name. If you take away the name, just say there's a fighter that has an 85% implied probability to win, 59% of the time implied inside the distance, 31% of the time implied in the first round at 9,400. You'd be like, oh, that sounds good to me. Well, obviously, Holloway and Nakamura project better. Sure, yes, I get it. But just in a vacuum, you take a look. Minus 555 win money line, minus 145 inside the distance, plus 225 in the first round. You're like, and then she's going to be under 20% owned. And she wrestles. Right? Facing someone that, frankly, can't get up. Right? You take away the name. You take away the gender. She should be more on. She shouldn't be obviously more on than Nakamura Holloway. But should it be a 2.5 to 1 discrepancy? Probably not. So as of right now, I will be playing a bunch of JJ Aldrich. And she'll lose, right? That's the way things go, right? But this is the way that you win, right? You have to risk it. You have to risk it for the biscuit. Now, I can play Aldrich in Holloway or Nakamura lineups. I can play Aldrich in Span lineups. Like, that's the great part about her up here. If she's going to be under 20% owned, like, I could play whoever I want at that point, pretty much. I'm much more likely to play her than Waldo or Chikadze. Or just the straight up strikers. I mean, just you got 5 minutes. I mean, but if Bedoya is going to be only like 22, 23% owned, I think that's at 9,200. Like, these are the people that are going to be much lower owned than they should be. And the thing about this is that, like, it's not like they have to put up massive scores. They just have to put up a score in relation to the price of Holloway and Nakamura. So we're not talking about like Holloway. Like, it's not like Holloway's 9,300. And then Nakamura's 9,200 and Aldrich is 9,100. It's like, dude, Holloway's 9,700. Nakamura's 9,600. You know, you're really severely limited on the lineup constructions that you could make when they're that expensive. Holloway putting up 115 points ain't a lock on this slate at 9,700. Nakamura getting 2 minutes in, getting a knockout, right? TKO, 110 points. It's 9,600, dude. He ain't a 9. He's not. This isn't 9,000. Like, 115 may not cut it. Aldrich could score 105 and be in the optimal lineup over them with those scores because of the extra 200 or 300 when, like, low price underdogs don't win. I'm making the case. I'm making the case for JJ Aldrich just based on the numbers. You just close your eyes, take the name out. You just take a look at the betting lines. You go, why can't I play her? Why can't I? We'll see. Is her fight even like? Am I going to wake up and know what happened? Like I don't even know what's the order of the fights. I'm going to wake up for soccer. Oh yeah. Oh no, I'm not waking up for that. Right, 5 a.m. They're going to start with Aaron's Sungwoo Choi. Yeah. By the time I wake up, I'm going to know exactly. Right, I'll probably be up for the main card. Right at 8 a.m. doing my soccer stuff. The preliminary card, which has now disappeared on Google. I'm going to wake up and hope for the best. That's what I'm doing, at least. What you should be doing, signing up for Combo Premium and getting the Grounded Pound podcast and listening to the fight breakdowns. Right, me, I'm a numbers person. I go by what are the betting lines? What's the median? What's the mean projection? What's the ceiling projection? What's the ownership? I make this little rating and build lineups accordingly. Who's overowned? Who's underowned? That's how I play. Right, and I play for first, so I lose a lot, but when I win a lot. Right, so I'm up a ton in MMA, even though I'll lose like 90% of the time. Maybe even more than 90% of the time. So that's how you should be playing. We take advantage of the people that are playing too safe, playing lineups that are going to be duplicated 64 times and 78 times and 44 times. Build lineups that have under 5. They're duped once, twice, 3, 4 times, maybe. You can build a unique lineup, play the 6 biggest underdogs, and leave 8,000 on the table. Yeah, that's unique, but are you ever going to win with that? Probably not. Once in a billion years or something. Not worth playing. Okay, hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door. Thummy thumbs, give me the thummy thumbs. You know how much I like the thummy thumbs. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Hit the notification bell to know when we go live. We have baseball today. We have a lot of baseball games today, right? Big slate tonight, Friday night. Grinders Live will be covering that 5 p.m. Eastern, and that leads right into Crunch Time, which is free, provided by FanDuel. Roth will have all the weather updates. I think Cheese is on, right? You get position by position breakdowns and everything. So tune in later to that. Obviously, go to the Scores and Odds channel if you want the Grant and all the betting stuff. Right? Chief's Take 'em Pick 'em show is now not before. Chief doesn't want to wake up early in the morning, apparently. Lazy. Early bird gets the worm. So he's on at 4:30, right before Grinders Live. We got tons of stuff here on the YouTube channel, all for free, all for you. So do us a favor and hit that thumbs up button for all the free content that we provide here at RotoGrinders. James will be back on Monday, right? We didn't have James for Mondays with McCool because he was coming back from the MLB Live Draftkings Live final, but he'll be back on Monday and we'll talk to him about his experience. He came in 24th or something like that, right? For like 45,000. That's not bad. Not bad indeed. He made money. So we'll talk to him on Monday and then send in your questions for NFL DFS. I'm continuing the primer series Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll be looking at the RotoGrinders tool. So if you have any questions about Lineup HQ when it comes to NFL DFS, I'll be going through the functionalities of Lineup HQ Tuesday and Wednesday. So send in your questions at theoryofdfs.com, and I will answer them because that's what I do here. Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock Eastern, on the DFS pregame show on RotoGrinders.com.